Chinese nationals arrested, now accused of running a multi-million-dollar money laundering and drug operation.
Federal authorities have just dismantled one of the most elaborate marijuana trafficking and money laundering schemes the Northeast has seen in years. 7 individuals.
Federal prosecutors say 7 Chinese nationals have been arrested in a sweeping takedown targeting illegal marijuana houses, often bought with cash and hidden in plain sight across residential neighborhoods. And it's not an isolated incident. Similar operations have been uncovered throughout the country.
All Chinese nationals now face charges that could send them to prison for decades. But the real shock? This wasn't hidden in a remote warehouse or sketchy industrial park. It was happening in homes just like yours, on streets where families live and kids ride bikes. If it happened there, it could be happening anywhere.
Federal authorities recently shutting down a massive Chinese-run marijuana grow operation in Maine and Massachusetts, seizing massive hauls of illegal cannabis and uncovering victims of human trafficking. This raid exposes a sprawling criminal network with dangerous ties to Communist China and a growing threat to national security.
What prosecutors uncovered wasn't a few plants in someone's basement. It was a full-scale industrial operation disguised as ordinary residential life. Across multiple Massachusetts towns, including Braintree, Melrose, and Greenfield, authorities identified a network of seemingly normal houses that had been completely transformed inside into high-output drug production facilities. From the outside, nothing looked suspicious. Mail was delivered. Grass was cut. Neighbors saw nothing unusual. But behind closed doors, every square foot had been converted into a manufacturing hub for the black market. This was organized crime operating with corporate efficiency. Suburban America turned into a private factory floor. The operation wasn't just about growing marijuana. It was about building a self-sustaining business empire. Once the drugs were cultivated, profits flowed through a sophisticated laundering system designed to make illegal money look legitimate. Luxury jewelry, high-end watches, real estate, all strategically purchased to disguise criminal proceeds as lawful wealth. Federal investigators called it a closed-loop system. Grow, sell, launder, reinvest, repeat. Each cycle made the operation stronger, harder to trace, and more profitable. But here's where it gets darker. Prosecutors revealed this wasn't just a local enterprise. It had international tentacles stretching across the Pacific. Financial transactions connected Massachusetts grow houses to networks in China, creating a transnational pipeline that moved money, resources, and even people across borders. This wasn't about selling weed in Boston. It was about funneling American dollars into a global criminal infrastructure. Small-town New England became a profit center for an organization that viewed communities as exploitable markets with easy access to production space and distribution routes. The timeline shows how long this machine operated before being stopped. Investigators believe the network began forming around 2020 and continued through late 2024, nearly 4 years of undetected activity. During that time, agents followed financial irregularities, tracked suspicious real estate deals, and mapped connections between properties, operators, and money flows. This wasn't a quick case. It was built layer by layer until prosecutors had enough to take it all down. In October 2024, federal teams struck. Before sunrise, coordinated raids hit multiple locations at once. 6 suspects were arrested immediately. 1 escaped and remains a fugitive. Each person in custody represented a vital part of the machine. Some ran the grow houses, others managed money, and some oversaw the laborers who kept production running non-stop. The indictments read like a federal playbook for organized crime, drug conspiracy, interstate money laundering, and human smuggling. Together, these charges could lead to decades behind bars. And this wasn't small-time possession, it was industrial-scale trafficking paired with structured financial crime and human exploitation. Agents discovered that Chinese nationals had been smuggled into the United States specifically to work inside the grow houses. Once they arrived, their passports were confiscated. They lived where they worked, trapped in debt bondage, told they owed enormous fees for their transport to America, debts that could never be repaid. They had no identification, no freedom, and no way out. Behind suburban walls, human beings were reduced to components in a profit engine. Federal agents, hardened by years of investigations, admitted this crossed into something even darker: modern slavery hiding behind white fences and quiet driveways. The money laundering operation was just as intricate. Prosecutors say millions in cash were funneled through overlapping channels to avoid detection. Currency was hidden in car engines during transport, moved through New York intermediaries, and converted into legitimate assets. In one traffic stop, officers found $36,900 stuffed inside a car, the driver wearing a shirt that literally said money. It was arrogance mixed with delusion, a belief the system couldn't touch them. Investigators uncovered an East Coast contact list linking cultivators, distributors, and overseas financiers. Every house had a purpose, some for cultivation, others for cash storage or laundering. Interiors were gutted and rebuilt with industrial lighting, irrigation, and rewired electrical grids capable of supporting round-the-clock growth. Workers were rotated to prevent attention, while confiscated passports guaranteed obedience. The money was recycled immediately into property, cars, and luxury goods, creating the illusion of success while reinforcing the criminal infrastructure. By the time the dust settled, the results looked like a military victory. 7 charged, 6 in custody, 1 fugitive on the run, millions in assets seized. Hundreds of kilograms of marijuana confiscated, exploited workers rescued. On paper, it was a law enforcement triumph, proof that years of patience and precision can dismantle even the most deeply embedded networks. But officials warn this is no ending. Organized crime evolves fast. When one network falls, another learns from its mistakes and rebuilds elsewhere. New houses, new workers, new money trails. These syndicates treat communities as camouflage, blending into ordinary neighborhoods until they're too rooted to notice. The Boston case stands as both a victory and a warning. Global criminal enterprises now operate with the sophistication of multinational corporations. They don't need gang turf or urban chaos, just quiet homes and unaware neighbors. Every lawn and mailbox can conceal a multi-million-dollar operation if no one's paying attention. For law enforcement, the fight continues. Every takedown reveals more hidden networks. For the public, one lesson remains clear: vigilance matters. These organizations thrive on silence. They depend on communities that don't ask questions, on neighborhoods that assume safety by default. The Boston raid proved they can be stopped, but only through years of coordination, interagency persistence, and alert citizens who refuse to ignore what doesn't look right. Because when organized crime hides behind normalcy, awareness becomes the most powerful weapon. If this investigation revealed threats you didn't know existed in your community, if you believe neighborhoods deserve protection from international criminal exploitation, stay informed. Into high-output drug production facilities. From the outside, nothing looked suspicious. Mail was delivered. Grass was cut. Neighbors saw nothing unusual. But behind closed doors, every square foot had been converted into a manufacturing hub for the black market. This was organized crime operating with corporate efficiency. Suburban America turned into a private factory floor. Subscribe for future updates. Share this report, and remember, silence protects organized crime. Awareness destroys it.